I love it. It just is like such a cool place to live. I have visited, and one of the things I really like about Sweden compared to some other places I've been in Europe is it feels like people live here. Like a lot of the places, other big cities, it just is very touristy, and like it's hard to imagine the people from that place living in that place because it feels built for visitors.
Yeah, I would say the first thing that struck me in the first couple of days here, and it's really been one of my favorite parts about Sweden, is just the calm and the sort of zen that's in everything here, from the people to the subway system. I mean, everything is just sort of zenned out and calm, and in a way that's really hard to find in the States. So.
Or my favorite thing has just been making new friends. Most of them obviously are American and also in the program, but I think all living together in the same apartment building and going to class together and going out on the weekends together and stuff like that has really gotten us close fast. Just having your own apartment. After living in a dorm room for 2 years at Wesleyan, I was excited to be able to have more of my own space, a kitchen, be able to cook, and I saw that studio apartments were advertised on the program website, and I thought that looked sweet.
Maybe I've been on your
twice.
Memories way.
No, okay, maybe I've been twice.
Yeah. I think being gone for 2 weeks.
I love just being in a city. It's definitely different from Oberlin, where it's kind of out in the woods. Here we have our own apartment, we have our own space, but we also get to be in this awesome city. It's kind of bustling all the time. I kind of can't walk anywhere without finding something new, which is really nice.
I'm really just becoming someone who lives here, which I didn't really expect. I thought that it wasn't going to be enough time for me to not feel foreign. And there definitely are moments, like, I'm not going to lie. But it feels like my home, which is really cool.
I feel like I have food in my teeth. Yeah, good. Say something smart.
Oh my god!
So you guys having a dinner? What's on the menu?
What's on the menu? We have pumpkin soup with toasted pumpkin seeds. We actually had some cheese platter going on earlier, and we have some tomatoes. And for dessert, we have some beautiful pumpkin and apple pies.
In one of our friends' apartments, and then we just all go cook together, and then we have we eat and have fun.
4 days, I'm like, bro, take a shower! Just take a cold shower!
Back at home, I'm an econ major and I do public policy as a minor. And so here I knew I wanted to do some econ, but I also wanted to take some classes that I couldn't get back at Carleton, and one of those was finance. And so I direct enrolled through the Stockholm School of Economics, which the Swedish program enabled me to do. And so I could take finance here, which was super cool, super interesting. The class kind of kicked my ass, but it was super fun. And otherwise I'm taking econ and public policy and then also Swedish. And so if you're looking for that kind of small, tight-knit community, and you're looking to pretty much know everybody that you're in a program with, I would say definitely aim for the Swedish program. Even if you're not studying economics, even if you're not studying public policy, they have classes for everything. There's cool art history classes, there's cool psychology biology classes and things like that, and so there's really something for everyone.
I think I enjoy the most is like connecting with people, especially I'm actually playing squash right now, like at a club, local club. So I got to play with like squash with different people, get to know about their life, and it's very interesting to get to know like how everyone like get motivated to go to like play some squash or go to gym. So
honestly, just the city. I've never like lived in a big city. I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma. So like a decent sized city, but not huge. So it's nice to just like always have something new to do.
When you come on the Swedish program, you will discover different ways of living and thinking. In the context of Sweden, of course, they learn particular things that are applied to the Swedish context, Swedish culture. Equality and economic growth are not mutually exclusive goals. You can have a society in which you pursue both. It's a society in which there's a tremendous value not only in work but also personal life and a great balance between the two. And interesting, I think, when I talk to students when they return, they often talk about that, the balance that they find in the kind of harmony of Swedish life.
We have a lot of epitomes for Swedish cultures, like lagom and fika. Lagom literally means not too little, not too much, just enough.
My public policy class would tell me to say that it's the strong welfare state and all that, and that definitely contributes to it. I think it's just a value thing too. I mean, valuing sort of that personal time and friends and family.
And wasting away, like you do see a lot of problems with how people experience online learning based on what their like economic background is and what their mental health background is and things like that. And I think like
just making sure that you always protect that time is something that they've really built into the system here in a really beautiful way. Yeah, and that sense of community. I think Swedes are really communal, and once you're friends with a Swede, I mean you're friends for life. So it's a great culture to be a part of. Yeah.
Many of our students have contact families, whether if they live in private studios, they have the option of having a contact family, or if they live in a host family. Then one of their first experiences with their family might be walking in the woods picking mushrooms. Prospective students look at me and go, "Picking mushrooms?" I say, yes, that's picking mushrooms. A tremendous, appreciation for nature.
I think the thing that's really cool for me is the nature and also the city. Like we scooted over here from, I don't know, somewhere over there in Ostermalm, and it's like you're in a full-on city, cars, and then you're like, on electric scooters, and then you're park them and walk 5 minutes and we're in like a beautiful nature reserve. And so like how coming from Alaska, also really enjoying nature, being able to like be in a city that quick and from a city to in nature is really like something special.
Fika's a big one. We're all big coffee drinkers, and so the social aspect of fika, being able to go grab a big group of people and just sit down and socialize and kind of forget about everything else that's going on, whether it's classes or work or what be it. I think it's a telltale kind of part of Swedish culture about how they value work and life and kind of balancing the two. So I think that's a big one for me.
I'm kind of really focused on fika, which is this great tradition. It's a time out in all walks of life. In schools, workplaces, there's a time out during the day where you come and share wonderful pastry and coffee. But it's not just about food, it's about community.
But it's social. It's something that you have to do with others. And it's a way to break up the work day and to in some ways, to focus on what matters. So it's a very small piece in the work-life balance that I think students come to appreciate living here. Because again, in the US, the work-life balance is largely out of whack. It's too much emphasis on work and not enough emphasis on family and play and just living your life.
There's actually an acronym that also refers to this Swedish phenomenon called fika. And the acronym stands for the 4 areas of life that have to be in balance. So the first one is F for föda, which means like to eat, to have good food. And then I stands for idrott, which means to take part in sport activities, to be physically active. Then K stands for kärlek, so it is love, to have good relationships. And then A stands for arbete, which is work. And what I'm trying to convey to students is like to have this full well-being in workplace and life, you have to make sure that all these things are in balance. That's actually something I have learned myself after coming to Sweden, and it's backed up by a lot of evidence from work psychology.
Maybe say the truth.
I would like you to read individually this short passage. It's a case study of a situation of relocation of the offices in one of a bigger manufacturer in Poland. And I would like you to discuss in groups of 2 or 3 what could be the possible consequences of this approach.
The vice president was saying that have a discussion.
I think also fika, the coffee. I wasn't really a big coffee drinker before coming here, but I think it's great that they take their break in the middle of the day to have coffee and a snack, and we've all definitely adopted that together and enjoy, like I mentioned, going to Jacob's coffee shop and hanging out there and getting a snack and stuff like that. I think we've become friends with Jacob, the guy who runs it, and we get coffee. He has really good carrot cake we'll sometimes indulge in, and that's become a nice spot to hang out. We basically get like $400 a month on a prepaid debit card to buy food at the grocery store, and it also works at restaurants. So that's been nice to be able to meal prep. I do a lot of cooking. I've been meal prepping, like on a Sunday or a Monday I'll cook a ton of food to last me through the week, so a lot of chicken, rice, other protein, vegetables, stuff like that.
I hope they take away living more independently by themselves, that they grow within themselves more, but they are used to living in dorms, have more of a security net, and then they come here and are thrown into the unknown. So I hope they get used to that feeling, because it's a very great experience, I think, to grow as a person, to be more independent.
So I think one of the big things is that most of us are living together, and so we all, when we were first moving here, we were all super nervous in a new place. We all kind of were figuring out the commute together, and we were figuring out the grocery store together. I remember one of the first days we were coming back from orientation, and 20 of us were just okay, we need to go grocery shopping. All of it's in Swedish. Let's go figure this out together. And so that definitely was very bonding, and it also meant that we didn't have to figure all of that stuff out alone, which I think would have been really daunting.
Different ways of life are as legitimate and as real as yours. And it's helpful just in being, a better person, I think, and being a better citizen, and being able to put yourself in the shoes of other people around you, so including the people who are different from you in the place where you live, not just globally. But I think it's also helpful in terms of whenever you have a problem, you are able to attack it from different perspectives, so you know that, okay, there isn't just one way to solve this problem, that I can look at this from different ways, and part of that ability comes from living a different life in a different place.
Well, this is actually the greatest reason to work in the Swedish program for me, because my classes, they usually have students from all across the world. So there are European students who come from different sort of exchange program, the US students from the Swedish program, the students from Asia, Australia, Africa. So all these students come to my class and they usually need to confront their basic assumptions about how the society should work, how healthcare should be managed, or how do you lead a workplace in the right way.
Yeah, I would say most of what I'm learning in class is kind of about the Swedish political system. I think it's really great that they don't really leave people behind here. There's a lot of effort to kind of integrate kind of everyone and allow everyone the same opportunity. I would say in terms of public transportation even, they're making a really great effort to include everyone and add more stops so that people can get in from all types of neighborhoods, I think. We live pretty far away, but at the same time, there's a train that takes like 20 minutes to get here, and so it's really not that bad of a commute at all. And it's nice to have that time on the train to kind of think. I usually draw or write in my journal if I'm not going in with my friends at the same time. I would say that the Swedish program just has a level of care that I think other programs maybe don't have as much, just because it's such a small program here. They're really able to make sure that you're doing all right and that you have the resources to succeed. I have a lot of friends who are abroad actually, and they're kind of struggling with how they're going to pay for food and how they're going to pay for all these experiences. And you know, at the Swedish program, they really do take care of a lot of that stuff for you.
So when looking at the Swedish program, I think it really set itself apart from the other programs I was looking at. I think the main attraction for me was the trips that they do.
If we follow along to the Arctic Circle trip, it's a very exciting experience because the north of Sweden, the top north, is a very different landscape. It's more the tundra, you have all of them beautiful mountains, and we actually take a night train up there. So the night train goes off is 6 o'clock in the evening and you arrive 10:30 in the next day. So it's a long trip, it's an experience, it's fun. And we also do like dog sledding and skiing, both cross country and downhill. And hopefully they will see the Northern Lights, and that's a magical experience to see, to witness.
That's also like, it's an opportunity for us to meet the students in a more like private way. Like we do a lot of things together then, and we can talk more, it's, you know, outside of office. And then I really love the trips because that really bring us closer to the students. And we started already, you know, during the orientation week in Sandhamn. And then we had Gotland in September this year, and in a few weeks we're going to the north. So I really love it.
One of my favorite memories was when we were out in the Stockholm archipelago. It was late August, and we had just checked into a youth hostel, and one of the students came out on the terrace, and he stood there for a while looking out over the Baltic Sea and all the beautiful islands. And suddenly he raised his hands to the sky and said, "This must be paradise." I think it was about 15 years ago, so...
This must be paradise.
Yes.
Why do you think he said that?
I think, first of all, I think he liked Stockholm. What Stockholm offered, but also to come out not far from Stockholm to this beautiful archipelago to see these beautiful islands and just be a small group on an island. Not that many people were around, so I think he really appreciated it.
They're eager to help us have a good experience, and stuff like the trip that we take to Sandhamn is included in the program, and you know, they're really good with having us go to group dinners and promoting events and cultural excursions for us, like the opera or the soccer games, and they really want us to immerse ourselves in the culture, and it's, I think, a little bit better than a program that just, you know, checks you in and says have fun.
I'm also in this design and architecture class, and so we go to a museum every week, basically, walk around. We've been to a few neighborhoods, which is awesome because he'll just point out different housing districts and basically how they came to be, how the city planned them and everything. And it's just really cool that everything is so intentional here, I think.
I think one important thing that they take away from it is an approach to should I say everyday life, in the sense that what we use is basically the city and museums and those things that are around us very much in our everyday life. And just being able to look at your surroundings with the eyes of an art and architectural historian somewhat is something that I think you bring along, I hope so, in just your way of percepting any place you come to and see.
In the end, they talked about their experience in a way that reflected their pride. Like, they knew they went through something that was challenging, that wasn't always like, haha, and this was great, and it was always fun, that there were some difficult moments. The culture shock is real, but they got through them, and that they feel like they're better for it, that's part of the experience. So when I hear students talk like that, it makes me think, wow, that's the goal of study abroad. That's the transformative experience. There's the resilience and the personal growth.